Hello everyone, welcome to the John Trading channel. You can see Bitcoin right now is at this major support level and it's looking like it wants to make a huge break to the upside. Plus, Ethereum is looking even more bullish than Bitcoin as this MACD histogram continuously ticks to the upside and it looks like we're about to break above the zero line and go to the upside. Plus, I have a lot of crypto news to go through with you today, so make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. First in crypto news, I want to go over this chart with you that is the fair price value line for Bitcoin. You can see here the blue line right here is the actual price of Bitcoin, and this red line through here is what we like to call the fair value line. If you see back here, 2015 to 2017, when we went below this 0.4 value line, that's when we had that massive bull run to the upside. We also did it again in 2012 to 2013, and you can see again in 2020, we went below the 0.4 value line before we made that massive rocket to the upside. And where are we at right now? We just touched below the 0.4 line, and again, looks like that we're below value, looking to then rocket to the upside for Bitcoin and the entire crypto market. Next, let's go over where we expect the price of Bitcoin to go in the future. You can see here from 2015 to 2018, this was the phase that Bitcoin went through. We initially have phase 1, which was the final sell-off. We had that Bitfinex crash. Phase 2, we then began to go sideways in this triangle type pattern. Phase 3 was when the halving peaked, and phase 4 was that parabolic all-time high from where we went from roughly $800 a Bitcoin to over $20,000 per Bitcoin. Then phase 5, we had that distribution phase showing the total days that each phase went through. Now, 2022 to 2015, you can see that we had this first crash, exactly like Bitfinex had that crash. We also had that FTX crash. Right now, we're in phase 2, where we can see that we're going through this sideways pattern. Same through here, we were going through that sideways pattern. And then phase 3 is when we're going to have that Bitcoin halving. So we're going to have that halving peak, then move sideways. And then phase 4 is that parabolic move to the upside, potentially pushing up to multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per Bitcoin. So it's showing that right now is truly the time to be getting into the market and holding for at least 1 to 2 years to get that massive push to the upside for Bitcoin. Then after we have that parabolic all-time high, we will go through that distribution phase and then it will all start again. Next is the Bitcoin cycle theory. The Bitcoin investment cycles will disappear. This is what could happen. The bull run phases of Bitcoin have been primarily triggered by halving events in the past, which is 100% correct. You can see on this chart here, every time we've had this halving, we're about to have another halving again, we get those massive pushes to the upside. Approximately every 4 years, the number of newly minted Bitcoins is reduced by a factor of 2, as indicated by the boxes in the chart. You can see each time we've had the halving, initially it was $25, 25 Bitcoin per block, 12.5, 6.25, it's about to go to 3.125, and then it's going to again continuously reduce. However, this effect will diminish over time as the absolute reduction of mined Bitcoin becomes smaller. As a result, the potential for future bull runs may be less pronounced, but they are likely to last longer at the same time. However, the next bull run, which is likely to start at the end of 2023, will be similar to the last ones, where initially we got that insane movement to the upside. We then got a 135x return. We then got a 20x return in the last bull run, and then this next bull run, we're hoping for another at least 20x to the upside. Next in crypto news, the Bitcoin supply that has not moved in the last 6 months has reached an all-time high. 15.2 million coins have not moved in at least 6 months. That's over 78 of the circulating supply. Supply last active 7+ years rises to over 3.9 million coins. That means in 7 years, these coins have not moved and have stayed in storage. Lastly, in crypto news, US Senator Cynthia, Bitcoin is advantageous as it allows individuals their own sovereignty and to implement and use their own secure values as Americans, showing that the American dollar right now is definitely unstable. It's losing a lot of value. through inflation, plus they're about to raise the debt ceiling for another time, continuously just raising where they can print money to, using inflation to also put money in their pockets. Bitcoin offers you digital sovereignty. Before I get into the crypto news, make sure you like the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. You can see here on Bitcoin, we're at this major support level. We had support, even coming down into support and having a lot of support in this area. Initially, we did have this massive wick to the downside, but it was only a wick and would only be bearish if we did close on the low of this candle, but we closed back into this support area. This was actually the end of the 60-day Bitcoin cycle, and the last 60-day Bitcoin cycle was right-hand translated, which gives us the higher probability that the next 60-day cycle, which has been going on right through here for just over a week, is going to be right-hand translated, which shows that we have a higher potential of moving to the upside in these next 60 days of the Bitcoin cycle. The MACD histogram has been confirmed that we're continuously making pushes to the upside. The MACD histogram uses the total volume of buying and selling to display these histograms. So we can see that we've had continuous ticks to the upside. As much as we have been going slightly up and also slightly down, it shows that there is more buying volume in the market right now than there is selling volume. The reason that we are having some resistance in this area is because prices come back to the value zone. We got that solid breakout through here to the downside. And as I've been explaining, this is the medium and short-term exponential moving average. And right in between this price is what I like to call the value zone. So every time after this strong drop here, we've come back to the value zone, back to the value zone, and back to the value zone yesterday. We are getting some small sell-offs because a lot of short-term traders are looking at this daily chart and understanding that that is where the value zone is after we had this strong breakdown. But we are in that trading range price action like you'll see in the 4-hour chart in just a second. We're failing to break to the downside. We're failing to break to the upside as there's a lot of trading range price action right now, but I am expecting a really solid break to the upside, then come back, retest this area, which will break from resistance. It will then flip to support and then will retest roughly to the $32,000 per Bitcoin up in this area. Now looking at the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin, let's just scroll back a couple of weeks. You can see how the exponential moving average was clearly sloping to the downside, which shows that there's a higher probability of continued downside momentum. And it also means that once you sell, you can hold your sell for a lot longer as price is traveling down. But if you look at the most recent price, we have been traveling in this sideways momentum. You can see that the EMA is moving slightly up, slightly down, slightly up, slightly down. Even now, it was slightly up the other day. Now it's just moving slightly down. So you can see that we're in that trading range price action. Every time we come into this area through here, people are buying, people are buying, people are buying, people are buying. And every time we come close to this area up here, people are selling, and people are selling. The reason being is when we're in a trading range, the goal of a trading range is to buy low. So to buy down in these areas is to sell high and to scalp, because this trading range price action also being shown by the exponential moving average is not trending like we were back here. We're moving slightly up and slightly down, and that's how traders are reacting. They're looking at what's happened in these last few weeks and they're trading it exactly like it's been in the future. So they're buying in these low areas and they're selling in these upper areas. And that makes a lot of sense, especially when you see this EMA moving sideways direction. What I am expecting is to get a break above this resistance zone. What we'll get is a really strong break. Once resistance gets broken through, I've always explained that it will then flip to a support level. Price will come back, retest this area before we then make that massive rocket to the upside at around $32,000 per Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum on the daily chart is looking even more bullish than Bitcoin. Through this area, we had that resistance level, resistance. We weren't able to break through. As I've explained, once resistance gets broken through like it did here, look, price came exactly back down into this resistance, flipping as support before we made that major move to the upside. And that's exactly what's happening now. This was initially resistance. It's now acting as support. So what we're looking for right now is this major move to the upside, also shown by the MACD histogram, which is continuously ticking to the upside, showing that positive momentum in the crypto market right now. If we go down to the 4-hour time frame, let's look through here. Right here, we had a strong down push on Ethereum. also shown by the MACD indicator. Then we had a lower low on the Ethereum price, but we had a higher low on the MACD indicator, which was signaling right in this area here that we need to begin looking for longs to the upside as price is going down, but the MACD histogram is showing that there's more buying volume actually coming into the market than there was selling volume. So that was one of the most perfect entries to enter, and I've been explaining it over the last few weeks that this was absolutely perfect. But you can see that we've come into this trading range price action now. As I'm always explaining, the EMA slope is the best way to trade. You can see through here, we had that downtick in the EMA, which shows that the slope is moving down and there's high probabilities to be shorting in the market. But lately, look at what price has been doing. Slightly up and slightly down trading range price action. There is no major bullish and no major bearish conviction just yet. Every time price comes into these areas, people are buying low and they're scalping. Once people come into these areas, people are selling high and they're scalping. The goal of the trading range is buy low, sell high, and scalp. Because the EMA is showing you that there's no conviction just yet where you can just hold, buy right now, and hold for multiple weeks. We need to wait for that price to actually confirm to us that we are going to get that breakout either to the up or downside. Again, the probability is that we are going to get that upside breakout, but trading is never a 100% game. There still has that 35, maybe 40% chance that we do make that downturn to the downside, and it will be confirmed. If we do, we'll get a break below this level. We'll come back, retest this area as initially as support. It will come back. It will use it as resistance before we make that major move to the downside. But what I am expecting is the complete opposite. We get a major break to this upside. We then come back, retest this area, initially was resistance, then acts as support, and then we get that major move to the upside. That's all I have for you for today. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.